That's right. So good evening to you as you tune in and join. Man, this is quite actually like a big. Yeah, good evening to you. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you from wherever you are tuning in. So when you see the Maiyegun General live charts, that simply means that we'll be having like one-on-one like this. But I can give a rider, like give it a title, just something to start with. Share the broadcast. Share it. So I'm feeling a little bit cold out there. So thank you so much for joining me. Remember, if you can hear me loud and clear, right, after reading the caption, remember I am also going to be reading your comments. So let's start with those who are here already. Olowo, thanks for joining me. I've got Sir Ben Banjo as well. Right. I don't know if it is just myself or if any of you have also been observing the same thing. Since February, let's start from February, where we have now seen an increase in the kidnapping cases, and then having these terrorists make a ridiculous demand for ransom. And I'm talking about hundreds of millions of naira as ransom. They've been paid billions, but when they cash out that big way, it is usually when they do their mass kidnappings. That is, they will go to community, kill those they will kill, and then kidnap like hundreds. So when it comes to releasing them, usually the federal government will be the one negotiating with them. And then they will be paid billions of naira, okay? Normally, everybody knows that the ransom money is mostly being used for arms purchase or, arms supply and all that, which indeed is what is helping to fuel the terrorism in Nigeria, okay? But the government of Nigeria categorically said that they don't pay terrorists. But that is not true. They do pay terrorists. And the terrorists actually have grades. But you see those ones that are kidnapping Nigerians, like they will kidnap people traveling, through the Nigerian roads. They will kidnap them. Sometimes they'll go to their homes and take them. And then they will be charging or they will be demanding for millions, like hundreds of millions of naira as ransom. Okay. So recently it seemed that, that used to be the issue, the case. But in the recent times, starting from February, I have seen more than 10 cases where these guys have made a ridiculous demand of a ransom, right? However, not all their victims actually made it out. We've had people who paid them ransoms and then they still kill them, right? For example, that Reverend Father that was kidnapped in Benue and his wife, they paid them over 30 million or so ransom. It was not released, it was killed. That was late last year, right? So we've had people who are kidnapped in, in Edo states. Ransoms paid, but the victims never made it out. And you remember that in the past, we have already diagnosed most of the motivation for this terrorism. It all started from, the farmers' others clashes. Others just wanted to graze their cows, and they were clashing with the locals, the farmers. So that was their initial story. Then we discovered that behind the scene, some of them or their sponsors in government were using their influence on the government in power to demand for sharing of Nigeria's land. This is not even just Nigeria, southern Nigeria's land, starting from the middle belt part of Nigeria. So they were demanding for land, and a lot of people couldn't really relate it. Like, okay, you've got cows, you want to graze your cows, right? Why not just probably, irrigate some of your land in northern part of Nigeria, since 74% of the Nigeria land mass is situated in the northern part of the country. So why should the southerners be paying the price, be killed, simply because Fulanis wanted to graze their cows? This was like 10 years ago when the whole madness started, though. People were still trying to reason with them, but the agenda then was like, to kill all of us as much as possible. That's it. So what did they do? We started seeing those who were supposed to be others with cows. We started seeing them on bikes, motorcycles. We started seeing them with, gun trucks, where they mounted the machine guns on trucks, on cars, on bikes. People who claimed that it was farmers' others clashes, that they deceived Nigerians for years while the Fulani terrorists armed themselves, including Boko Haram, to rearm themselves. So these days, as Nigerians are picking the bodies of the, unprotected Nigerians, even the military are also paying the price. So we discovered that it is not just about cows anymore. Well, we've discovered that there are more motivations. There are other stuff motivating them. And the government of Nigeria and their agents, they are complicit, very much complicit. That the security architecture of the country is more or less so compromised. So we figured that, there are also, external kind of like a factor too. What they want. They wanted the land, but not the land. They didn't want the land because they want to develop the land. Those who are demanding that we should give the Fulani terrorists our lands to make peace knows that the Fulanis demanding the lands are not interested in the land. If it's about land, they've got massive or enough of them up north. It is mostly about what is under the land, which is called the rare earth minerals. Those resources that Nigerians actually have no clue how blessed they are. But the government does. They do know how blessed Nigeria is. Their external partners, they call them partners. Those ones that comes in and illegally mine those resources, and they still manage to get them out of Nigeria in tons in that. You get what I mean? So we discovered that what motivates this terrorism is so huge. And in order for it to continue, right, they will need to keep funding the violence. You get that now? So they keep funding the violence. Meanwhile, the government appears to be overwhelmed, right? The citizens are being displaced from their homes, while those places where people have been displaced, sent away, right? When you get to those places right now, you will see a lot of illegal mining going on from Plateau State to Benue State to Taraba State to Gombe State to Jigawa to Adamawa to Borno. This Borno that is now boiling as we speak. If you go to Oyo State, everywhere you see the presence of these terrorists, there is an illegal mining going on or about to start going on in that area. All over Nigeria. You get that now? So now we are back at the issue of organ harvesting too. Nigeria is a place where data is, reliable data is almost non-existent, right? Because ordinarily, if Nigeria, every time you read the stories of people being kidnapped, children, women, men, young, old, being kidnapped. Most of the time, they never made it back. Most of the time, most of those people kidnapped, they never, ever made it. And that is why somebody said, terrorists demanding 100 million naira from the family of poor people they kidnapped. Most of the time, they don't expect you to pay the ransom. They just want you to possibly try to come and buy back the organs of your loved ones. So these guys are not only carrying out the act of terrorism, which is mostly funded with this illegal mining and the ransom payment, but with other things too. What about organ harvesting? So if Nigeria was a real country that keeps data of how many people being kidnapped and where their names and all that, how many of them have been retrieved, how many of them were saved, how many of them got back alive, how many of them never got back. Sure, you get a country like Nigeria with what is mostly being buried, if they are to be in the open, right? I don't think anyone in the country will probably feel comfortable, all right, with the rogues in government telling you that you should relax. Tinubu is fixing Nigeria. Imagine if you have a missing people center across the country that is reporting that they have more than 200,000 people missing. Do you really think, and I mean, missing, being kidnapped, and possibly still in their captivity, or they've been killed? Imagine if you have, if you have an institution in the country that keeps record of all of that. Do you understand how busy such an institution would be in Nigeria? Meanwhile, that institution should have been the police. The police institution can't tell you the number of Nigerians in the captivity of terrorists as we speak. Nobody in government, nobody, no intelligent officer in Nigeria today can tell you exactly how many Nigerians have been taken, because they are not keeping the record. They don't care. Most of the time, they would rather want it buried, because it is better buried than for you to be demanding answers from them, right? So, what Mr. Adegoke, well, anyway, 2 days ago, we saw the cries of one of the daughter of one APC chieftain in Ondo State who was kidnapped. Now, this person, to me, doesn't really look like somebody who can cough out 100 million. But yeah, the terrorists are demanding for 100 million. They've kidnapped him. I think they've kidnapped him about 4 days now, 5 days. They shot him. They didn't allow him to have access to medical care. So he's still kind of like in their captivity with gunshot wounds. Okay. So yesterday, another person who is also a Yoruba man, according to his story, he works in Kano. They just promoted him or transferred him to Sokoto on his way to his new post. He's been kidnapped. Guess how much they are demanding? 100 million naira. So it is not just that they are taking people away, demanding for money. They are harvesting their organs enough that a lot of those people they have taken away never, ever, ever made it back. Now, take a breath. Let me read a few of the comments so that I don't miss anything out at all in that chat, So here, thank you very much, Anthony, Musbah, and the rest of the Empress Aisha. Thank you. So I feel that okay, sorry, you guys are only exchanging pleasantries, right? So do you think some people are playing the 2015 playbook with Tinubu? Though Tinubu was known to be part of them. Well, I mean, in this day and time, the only thing that really seems to be working is when, when the government finds and excuses for why their incompetence or even their collusion can be excused again. We've had a conspiracy where it was strongly believed and even acknowledged by Kawu Baraje. I think that's his name, Kawu Baraje. Yeah, he was part of the PDP guys, okay, that left PDP at the time with Atifku to go and form APC. And he said, yeah, they did invite some of these terrorists, all right, to destabilize Nigeria, discredit Jonathan's government, and purposely just to take over power. Okay. But after that election, they didn't expect Jonathan to just surrender like that. They expected a lot of resistance where Nigeria would be thrown into even more like chaos, like civil war kind of. So they wanted to be in control of that, in control of that violence. So they brought in this Fulani terrorist, Boko Haram terrorist. Initially, it was Boko Haram terrorist. How they managed to get away with that at the same time could be blamed on the Jonathan's incompetence too, right? And I remember then when he was asked why didn't he arrest Bokwari, there were evidence that Bokwari, Atifku, and even this Tifnumbu, they were all in on how to destabilize Nigeria in 2015, if Jonathan by any means. And they had the support of Obama's White House at the time. True story. Okay. But the point here is this. 10 years of pointing fingers and Nigerians just dying. If you ask me that if they are trying to replay the 2015 card on Tifnumbu in 2027, I am going to disagree, especially because I can remind all of us how tensed and mostly how organized, how tensed the politics of 2014, 2015 was, right? And then how organized this APC, Egbekegbe at the time, how organized locally and internationally they were. You can't say the same of this current opposition. I don't think they have the mileage or have what it takes, because for somebody like Tifnumbu, he's told us that he is not Jonathan. So currently, except for those who are not part of his party, right? He's been going after those he's suspected to be a potential threat based on, their own misgivings in the past, using it against them. Malamu, El Rufai, and few others that Tifnumbu is still probably going to lock up. So I wouldn't say that. It probably should be the other way around, if you ask me. Tifnumbu is the president of Nigeria right now. He is the commander-in-chief of your armed forces. He is the only one who has the power to hire and fire. They plotted a coup against him, right? And they were caught. That's to tell you that nothing goes on in the country that he is not aware of. He will only act if it affects or if it is going to affect him, either politically or otherwise. Everything else, right? They are mostly secondary. And why? They have allies. They have people who have, who believes that they contributed to his emergence. And if he is to enjoy that supposed presidency, he would have to tread with caution. With caution, rather. I said caution. So thank you so much, Empress Aisha. Yeah, that's another way you can support Maiyegun. You can be a member of, subscribe onto Maiyegun's Diaries membership. You can be supporting me that way too. Empress, thank you so much. So it is believed that Tifnumbu in 2022, when the likes of Malamu and others were doing everything possible to ensure that Tifnumbu never gets to the stage of running as an aspirant in the APC, Egbekegbe's presidential election or presidential primaries. So he caught them off guard, like he probably got the hint of it earlier. So he played his game in there enough that he probably agreed to some things. You see that Muslim ticket stuff, right? El Rufai said They did not use Muslim ticket because of religion. No, 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 no. They used it, listen, to gain power, to win election. And in the course of doing that, that's not the promise they made to the Izala. There's a group called Izala Movement. Do you understand? They are based in Jos, Plateau State. Izala Movement. This Izala movement is the ground, kind of like a foundation for all of the extremists or the extremism that is associated with Islam. It's one of them, not the only one, but that Izala movement is so prominent that they have in their midst, they have generals, lieutenants, military officers, politicians, governors, name it, ministers, and all over the place, who are members of that Izala movement. And it's always been like that kind of like a religious political organization whose agenda is mainly Islamic extremism. Do you understand? So they are not jokers. And they met with Tinubu. They were the ones who assembled all of the clerics in northern Nigeria. They assembled all of them in Kano. Yeah, all those ones who were with them. I'm talking about thousands of them. They invited and brought all of them to Kano to come and endorse Tinubu, because that is the only way the interest of Muslims will be protected. That's what they sold to them. So in the process, right, when the sponsor or those who have links with terrorism in Nigeria, when their names appears in files that are probably submitted to Tinubu to act on, that is where we talk about the political will. Political will to go after terrorists and their sponsor is something that politicians, right, have to weigh. Do you want to do second term? You still have a re-election. Don't do this. We can't touch them. We just have to look away. No matter the atrocities they are committing. Yeah. Lack of the political will of those in power is the reason why those people seemed like untouchable. You see? Conflict of interest. If I go after these people and those people, I am going to upset this base. I'm going to upset these people, and I do not want to upset them now. I mean, that's something that a typical politician will use to convince you and tell you that, you can't do that now. Wait for him to get his second term. He will do it. No, he won't do it. Even if he gets third term, fourth term, fifth term, no, he won't. Because he has pledged to protect their interests. Rather than go after them, your president may pick up the phone and start calling their leaders to talk to them and say, hello, yeah, I just wanted to say hello to you, to say, how are you doing, sir? Say, well, I'm very well. We are very well. Why are you calling us? Well, it's just that I don't know if you can talk to your boys to slow down a bit, because things are pretty much making me look bad out there now. So please, I don't want to come after you guys, the way you see it in the movies, where people in authority will be calling drug dealers, drug barons and all of that, dons, right? Pleading with them to say, you know what, I can't use my power on you. If I do that, it's going to affect me too. You get? So this is why I do not want to buy the idea that some people are doing 2015 to call, because something is your president. And being your president, everything ends with him. Everybody will keep shouting his name, calling his name. And I don't think anybody with, modicum of sense or brain in their head, right, would want their own government to get so destroyed in that sense. But politicians in Nigeria now, they've played it down so well. They told themselves that they are playing, it's not that bad. Some people are just exaggerating it. Exaggerating the killing of Nigerian soldiers by terrorists. No consequences, no nothing. That's not an exaggeration. That is a total negligence. Something that should demoralize a lot of you who possibly still think you have this patriotism in you, I'm a patriotic Nigerian. I can't watch everything going. I mean, I've seen soldiers. I mean, a lot of them who strongly believes that they are doing everything. They are doing everything to defend the integrity of Nigeria, and yet they are sending them to the meat grinder every now and then. They get sent to, they get sent to compromise the intels that ended up, killing them, putting their lives in danger, and all that. So yeah, I do not buy that, but it's probably possible. At the same time, if I have a kind of like a stronger argument, to back that. I do not buy that the fact that people are plotting, they are the ones who are doing the same thing they did to Egbekegbe. They are doing the same thing to Kalu. I don't buy that. I basically blame him, as well as his own selfishness, because to Kalu, what comes first is power. Everything else is secondary. And that's why he told his supporters, power is not served a la carte. So you have to grab it. I mean, you have to snatch it, grab it, and make a run for it, like run with it, So I saw the news where Christopher Musa was calling the service chiefs. Because honestly speaking, this is not working. Like, Goodluck Ebere Jonathan wasn't this worse, wasn't this bad when his government was classed as a failure. But right now, while we watch our loved ones being hunted down across the country, they are telling us to relax, that Kalu is fixing Nigeria, right? I saw another one today where people said they will probably raise money. Okay, remember that APC chairman that they kidnapped in Ondo? Yeah, people are saying that they are ready to raise money and give it to the kidnappers and tell them to keep him until after May 29, 2027, if it is possible. And right now, APC Egbekegbe, they have created a complete national division, unfortunately, through their tribal, ethnic, religious, divisive politics. Today, Nigerians are now looking at the news of, when the news popped up, right? Like, if the news pops up right now, they say 2 people kidnapped along Benin Shagamu Expressway. The people will go and check and say, who is he? Who are the 2 people? By the time they open up and okay, let's check. Are they APC supporters? What's their full name? Let's go and check their name online, on social media. That's the state where APC Egbekegbe has brought Nigeria. And right now, people are more or less like choosing who to mourn and what to mourn about. There is no national cohesion or unity that probably should ordinarily make all Nigerians feel like this is a big problem for all of us. But rather, everybody is just rolling inside there, hoping that it won't touch them, hopefully, before the whole thing is, or probably before the APC is destroyed. And then, this contraption may be even divided, broken up. So, thank you to our own Empress Aisha. That's what he's doing. They are buying time. They're already telling people that this whole thing didn't start under Tinubu. So what do you want him to do? He's doing everything. They are lying to people. The most painful thing is that they're actually lying to people so much. They lied to people so much that they themselves are believing the lies. Okay? So they are willing to keep pushing it on like that, little by little, until, they'll do their 2027 charade. The story will continue. We are doing everything. The president is doing everything to make sure that it protects Nigeria. We are doing everything. Can't you see that a lot of people are joining him? A lot of people love his party. A lot of people love his reform. They keep bombarding you with that rubbish. And then they will say, okay, you know what? Nobody can finish the fight against terror. But APC will do it in 2031. Then they will choose another person for you to come and pretend to... just like a Bukwari and Tinubu. the way the people around the Tinubu are currently acting, not currently, the way they have been acting, you will think that it wasn't from the same APC Egbekegbe that Tinubu took over from, right? You will think that Nigeria started the moment Nigeria started, or governance started the moment Tinubu took power in 2023. They have done so much to erase Bokwari out of it. And when it is convenient, they will just, they won't spare him. And that, at the early stage of Tinubu's regime, right, that got these Arewa people upset when the Tinubu's men said he inherited the rotten economy, broken economy, collapsed economy. People were praised Bokwari for 8 years. Immediately, just a few hours after taking the power from him, taking over from the same Bokwari, they said they inherited the worst. Who made Nigeria economy worse? Who made the insecurity worse? APC Egbekegbe. Keep saying it. Tell your children. So right now, everybody is they're just counting their days and hoping, right, that they would probably not be victims. And I've said this many times. Yesterday's victims are, yesterday's survivors. They are today's victims. And today's survivors are obviously going to be tomorrow's victims. It is turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Yeah. It is war. And it's like Nigerians are facing 2 wars. First one from the religious extremists, the terrorists. The second one are those wearing the Babariga terrorists. You see, the ones who are shielding the main terrorist and explaining now and why, they just can't get rid of them. It's mental. Now, let me read more comments and react to that just before we call it a night or evening. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, they're not ready to do anything. I agree. Trust these evil people. Kodak, at your own peril. Yes, I'm very well, Kodak. Thank you. So I can fabu me over. You are here. Bless you. Yeah, they've got Ansaru. They've got Ansaru, but you see that is Zala. They are different. They are special. You're special. And the person who is believed to have been one of their grand Kadi happened to be the father of the current Sheikh Osama bin Gumi. Now, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi's father, who I heard, I think is Ahmad or something, or is mad or something, right? Was the guy who happened to be, the grand Kadi of this extremist. And it's a long story. It is a long story, So his son, Osama bin Gumi, is there at the top of this national conversation of security, insecurity, and he's there offering his own unsolicited advice, while behind the scene is advocating for freed, repentant terrorists as the only way to end the violence. Nobody's listening to him so far, or probably not using that for him so far. So his Zala movement also have a link. They also have a link to, you see that young boy, that, I want to remember his name, that pants bomber, what's his name? Mutoyib or Bimutalab. You remember that boy? The son of the former owner of a first bank. Yeah, the first bank in Nigeria. So I want to remember Abdulmutalab. Yeah, that's his name. Right? A young boy raised in America and got back to Nigeria, tutored by the same Sheikh Osama bin Gumi. And somehow it got turned to become a bomber. He wanted to bomb the American airline wearing a pants bomb that failed to detonate, because the reason why that bomb didn't detonate was because they said he sweated. His sweat kind of prevented the spark needed from the ignition wherever attached to his bomb. So he sweated, and that was the reason why the bomb didn't go off. He's got his traces back to Sheikh Osama bin Gumi, as well as this Izala movement. Conflicts for jihad. Remember that conflicts for jihad? David Undenyi. Yeah. So that too is also linked to this same Izala movement. So all these things are like, public secrets, open secret rather. Like, the reason why they can be dismissed is because their sheikhs, their leaders, and the rest of them, they are very, very revered. And they're not just revered because they can recite Arabic, or read Quran, or do all those stuff. No, they are revered because those who are their main and key members are those who run Nigeria. Whether it is finance, or whether it is defense, or whether it is politics, or whether it's, name it, you will find their members there. And they are there to protect the interest. And that's why you get to see all this Sharia inside, even inside your constitution. Why is that? Izala and the rest. I know a lot of us talk about the Sokoto Caliphate. They all intertwined, and they all get linked up to that same Satan of Sokoto. So to an average Muslim, this is just a Muslim organization. These are people who are just trying to spread Islam and make peace. And no, they are not. It's a bunch of terrorists. But they have been very much incubated, nurtured by those who were supposed to be loyal to the country. But they have been loyal to these guys. You know what I mean? So it's deeper. It's kind of like that. So if you become the president of Nigeria, you should actually be ready to die, which is rare. They don't want to die. When I say you should be ready to die, it's simply because some decisions that you are going to make that you'll be so surprised that those around you, they will take you out. Goodluck Ebere Jonathan said, Boko Haram is everywhere. But the way he said it made people kind of like abuse him. But they didn't get it. And he was probably like, too kind of like stupid as well to never really explain, because he just left it to the rest of you to figure it out. Boko Haram, he said, Boko Haram have infiltrated his own government. If a president of a country says that, it's not saying that this gone within drug addict, ragtag, slippers wearing terrorists. No. Those are not the ones who infiltrated his governments. He's talking about from his defense, his own security, his asshole rock, his driver. And all these guys are partly, full-time Boko Haram sympathizers. So how do you swim against such sharks? Especially if you have been told that you have to be careful just for your own good. For president of the country, president of a country, they will tell you, you need to be careful. There are some people you can offend. They are not going to come to you. They're not going to come for you in that sense, okay? But people around you will take you out. Why is that? Jonathan said it. He said, Boko Haram are also in my government. What he's saying there is that most of these political appointees, civil servants from northern Nigeria, right? Because when you go check the recruitment process, let's even use the civil service or civil servant, military and the rest of them. When you go and check the recruitment process of all of these supposed important government functionaries, you will see the quota system. The quota system in Nigeria, which ordinarily places a northerner above the southerner. It doesn't matter your education, qualification, or whatever. And if you dare try to change it as a president, you will meet a lot of resistance. You will meet a lot of resistance, and you'll be wondering, are those people that powerful? No, they are not that powerful. But they have become so entrenched in the system that somebody like yourself who comes into government is considered as an outsider if you are not if you're not being selected by them. So you are considered as an outsider. So those watching you, reporting back to some people that you have no idea even exist, yeah, they are there. They have been given access, security clearance, all those things. They've been given everything. So they are around you. So those around you will tell you that, well, you know what? We can change a lot of them, but we will likely not succeed in changing all of them. So therefore, some certain things will be within the corridor of power. You start seeing people talking in hushed tones because they know that the walls have ears. And the walls that have ears, in this case, are those who are eavesdropping and then reporting back to those who can make use of those information, the owners of Nigeria. So as a president of the country, you would know that. So if you want to get rid of them, you have to do it with the expectation that I could be killed. And how many of them really want to die for Nigeria? After all of that rigging, all of that buying, threat, and all of to bring themselves to power, only to come and die because they want to fix the country? No, I don't think they want to do that. So therefore, they ended up becoming complacent, right? Complacency will kind of like creep in. And that's it. A lot of you will start looking at us, how come they cannot do this? Why? What is the president doing? What is this government doing? Are they not seeing all of these things? How come this government is not doing anything? No, they are seeing everything. They just won't do anything about it. Just doing something about it could cost them that same power that they killed to get. You see how complicated it is? You see why your election may never actually be free and fair? Why you may never be allowed to actually choose your own leaders. It's because if you start choosing your own leaders, that simply means Nigeria is beginning to get better near. It simply means that there will be consequences for actions. People will be held responsible for what they are doing or what they have done. People can get punished for behaving badly, right? But not now. They won't want that. They won't. So let's pick up another one. Ada Williams, opposition, Nigeria going for mission without air cover. That means a lot to me. See, that's what I'm talking about. Things that ordinarily you'll be wondering, how come? How is that even possible? Why would they do that? Like, is that so difficult to get intel, gather it enough and say, we are going to clear this theater, we're going to clear this part, and then you clear them indeed successfully? Why is that difficult? Compromise. Compromised or compromised intel. Compromised people will produce compromised intel. Compromised intel will lead to people's death, and because it is deliberate. So yeah, sending them without air cover or sending air cover without ground, sweep is pretty much a waste of time. And it is all deliberate. Let them see that we are doing something. We need to let them see that we are doing something. Now, Air Force, now you go and drop 10 bombs. Drop 2 in Nasarawa, drop 2 in Zamfara, drop 4 in Borono, and then maybe you should stop by Sokoto, drop 2. Make sure the media covers it and say we drop bomb. We have killed terrorists and go back. So what's that? What about ground troop? If they know that the Air Force is going to carry out an operation on these terrorists, right? So what about the ground troops that should be clearing the area of the terrorists that will be escaping, those ones that the bombs won't get, right? No. Then you see Nigerian soldiers, they can shoot for like hours. Just shooting into the blank, just shooting everywhere. You won't see the people they are shooting. You won't really see much of them. And then around that time, you'll think, oh, this will be the best time if to say those who are shooting at this Nigerian, that means the terrorists are there, right? So Air Force, go and bomb them. Why can't they do that? Same reason. Sabotage, compromise, name it. Collins, Onoha, just joining us, right? Yeah, good evening, Baba. Thank you. So the Prince, also Prince Jojema. I actually think I have the line. I was going to have the line open there, but We'll have it another time. So, yeah. Now let's take a look at. So since Nigerians know, this is Oda Thomas. Since Nigerians know all these things, can they please break the country and let everybody go their separate ways? Right, that's the general prayer. Unfortunately, Nigerians are, they have been so battered enough and so divided that they tend to just do the sing song of the same criminal politicians who destroyed Nigeria, and they are telling us that breaking up Nigeria is about. So you get to see Nigerians who somehow they've given up on Nigeria. Like they will tell you this country can never work. Then let's break it up now and go our separate ways. Cannot break up. Nigeria cannot break like that. So why? Why do you still want to keep it? Then they'll give you all these different reasons that sometimes will make your head, like your head will want to like explode rather. So I just believe that time is going to fix all of that. When everybody will get to, we are better off not together. Okay. And that can actually be discussed, that we are going to go our separate ways in that sense. Doesn't mean that we are still not going to be neighbors. We're still going to be neighbors. So, and if you don't want to break up Nigeria, one thing is that this current one is not working, right? It's not working. So the ideal thing is to try something maybe that has worked before, And that is, if you don't want to break up Nigeria completely, you can start with decentralization of that contraption. Let everybody go to their regions. Let people associate with people they want to stay with via a referendum where people can choose to say, I want to belong to the Eastern region. No, I want to belong to the West. I want to belong to the Midwest, or what they call the South-Southern Sinabi. So I want to belong to the Middle Belt. So people could vote in a referendum, and then a memorandum of understanding, a treaty can be signed where everybody can then agree and say, okay, this is how it's going to be now. Cancel all these states and these state governors and all this rubbish, state house of assembly and all this nonsense. Let people decide the type of government they want to govern them and how they will be choosing those governments without any external influence, But yeah, that's a tough one. They'll tell you, no. Come and break it now. Say, no, me. I'm not going to be the one to break Nigeria. The actions of these rogues in government is going to decide or determine if Nigeria is going to break up or not. It's not Maiyegun. It's not Prince Checheman. Not me. Not Nnamdi Kanu. That's that. We are not the ones that will break Nigeria. A lot of us are just the messengers to point out things, right, that these guys want you to not probably look into, like not care about. But these are the things that continue to take lives, cherished, precious lives. And if it continues, a lot of you are going to begin to say that too. A lot of you are going to begin to agree that this is not working. This is not working. Let everybody go their separate ways in a way, okay? And by then, it will be by popular demand. The only thing people like us don't want is the violence, the bloodbath. We don't want war. There are those who believe that, no, Nigeria is not going to break up easily like that. It's going to be war. And I'm like, war with who? The only people that will wage war at you for demanding for, demanding for self-determination in Nigeria are those who are currently milking Nigeria and those who have milked Nigeria for decades, and it is like their inherited grandfather's estate or something. Those are the ones that will then call the military that they are not paying well, the police that they are not paying well. They will give them guns, and they will give them unlimited ammunitions to go and kill Nigerians for demanding that this particular one is not working. Let's try something else. The reason why they told you that Nigeria can break is like that, okay? Because if Nigeria breaks, all those multi-billionaires in northern Nigeria, that some of them you don't even know them, but they are the oil block owners. They own oil blocks, oil rigs in Niger Delta across the country, right? They are there doing their illegal minings, making their billions and all that from northern Nigeria. So if you break up Nigeria today, they won't have that control anymore, right? Yeah, Obasanjo won't have land all over Nigeria anymore because there will be no Nigeria. Whatever is left to be is Otafam, which will then fall under the Western Nigeria. Sure you get. But as Nigeria continues to be right now, Obasanjo remained the number one. I think they said that Obasanjo has the biggest land allocated to him in Benue. He is one of the people with the biggest land, or make I use the largest land, what have you, in River State, in Benue State, in what do you call it, Taraba State, that hill, all those places. Because Obasanjo collected lands across Nigeria under a fiat, a military fiat, in 1977, 1978, when Obasanjo decided to, no, in fact, actually, it's actually 1977. What was that? When was Operation Feed the Nation? When Obasanjo launched what he called Operation Feed the Nation. He used the military power to take lands. And you know when government takes land, right? That's a law. Obasanjo collected all these lands. There was no Operation Feed the Nation anywhere. Just a jamboree, a charade. When Obasanjo handed over power to Shagari in 1979, I think. So when he handed over to Shagari, by then they have converted Operation Feed the Nation, Operation Feed the Nation, OFN. They changed it. By the time they go to January 1st, 1980, Obasanjo has changed 100% the supposed Operation Feed the Nation lands and the resources around it. He converted everything to Obasanjo Farm of Nigeria. Same OFN, Operation Feed the Nation, OFN. Obasanjo Farm of Nigeria, OFN. And these lands remain under the estate of Obasanjo. And these lands are all over Nigeria. Igbo land, Hausa land, this land, that land, he's got lands all over Nigeria. There are some of these lands that some of the state governors have started, some of them try to take some of these lands back. I said, but you can't take all of this money now. You can't take all of this land now. So if Nigeria break up tomorrow, these people will have their land back. The Igbo land that he collected, they will have their lands back. The Niger Delta, the creek, and all of those places where he's got lands and all those things, they will have their lands back. They can't give it to Obasanjo. All this middle belt, the Obasanjo have more than maybe 20, 30,000 hectares of land scattered all over the middle belt, owned by him. And Danjuma too, because Danjuma also got some lands around that time too. Right? All those lands will be returned back to the middle belters. It's not going to be Obasanjo land anymore or Obasanjo's estate, ever. And you see all those Babangidas who also used oil rigs in Niger Delta to do lollipop freebies to their girlfriends, their sons, their in-laws, and all of that. They too will have all of their hands off the people's oil if Nigeria breaks. So don't think it's because you, Shina Gorom, Abi, you, Etete, Abina Atete from Niger Delta, that it is you that doesn't want that Nigeria cannot break. It's not you that is keeping Nigeria together. No. The only thing keeping Nigeria together is the greed of the elite. Nigeria is like their graveyard. They are like vultures who comes down to come and scavenge in their at the graveyard, looking for the dead body, dead meats to feed on. Once they feed on that carcass of dead bodies, they fly away. That is when they fly to Europe, fly to America, fly to all these places to get medical care, send their children to all these places to get education. Sure, you get me now? Because Nigeria is like their own, graveyard. It's a place where they come to scavenge. And when they die, they want to be buried in Nigeria, sort of. So not be you. If you think that Nigeria can never break, who you be? Yeah, it's not you. The only thing that is keeping Nigeria is their greed. And the moment their greed, their insatiable greed gets to that stage that Nigeria can no longer feed it. Nigeria can no longer feed the greedy. Nigeria will break. That's why I'm saying that things can continue like this. You get me now? Things can continue like this. They have done a lot to keep themselves in control, but they are going to lose control. Because you still have me. That's life. You have to give something back. You know what I mean? You have to give something back. You cannot keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking from the people without giving anything back. So it's going to get to a stage where the only thing people will have left is going to be their life. And then they will realize that the government is probably coming for their life too. Or the government is coming to take our life. They've taken everything from me. They've taken everything from us. What else are they going to take from you now? My life. No, I'm not going to let them take my life easily like that. When Nigerians get to that stage, right, maybe we can begin to talk of the end, you know. Kodak. No, something is going to give way. It's just a matter of time. Trust me, something's going to give way. You know, when PDP was at their own zenith, PDP talks down on Nigerians. I don't know how many of you can remember the way some of the PDP chieftains were like always talking. They were untouchable. They felt like they were invincible. Then they started cracking from within. The crack was so huge that by the time the gap opened and the water gushed in, it was obvious that they were going to sink. And they have been sinking. They've been trying to pump out the water from their ship for a while. They continue to sink and sink and sink. Right now, they're almost going into oblivion. Anyway, I've had a nice chat this evening, okay? No, I'm feeling better now, ma'am. Omolara Ogundari, thank you so much. I'm feeling better. But you know, one thing about our weather here is that it just goes and comes and goes and comes. It's the season. We are in spring, or we're almost in spring now. So I just pray that it doesn't get me so crushed. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. It is always better than nothing. And I have had a nice chat this evening, okay? I am going to... Olowo, okay. What do you have to say about the new dual party member law that was passed by the criminal lawmakers in Abuja? Okay, I'll say something about that one quickly. You know, these people said they couldn't change anything about live transmission of election result anymore. Some even advised them that they could go back in and do the amendment and put live transmission in that new electoral law. They said, no, it's late. But guess what? The same new law they just passed, they have done another amendment in it that you can't be a member of two political parties. That's even criminal though. Yeah, that you can't be a member of two political parties if you are caught being a member of two political parties. You could go to jail for 2 years or pay 10 million naira fine. So a lot of people are saying that they are targeting the opposition. How? Everything they have put inside that their electoral law or the electoral amendment of 2026 is targeted at the opposition. And how they are going to maneuver that, I don't know, but it's about to play out. So let me tell you how. In this their fake one, this new 2026 electoral act that they amended, it is in there that they have removed what they call the delegates primaries. You know that one that you have to get delegates. Yeah, the one we used to talk about, the delegates and dollars. They've removed that. There's no more delegates. What you have now is just 2 on how to choose your candidates. Consensus candidates, which means that you can agree that somebody is going to be your candidate and all of that stuff. So you go out and you have all your members to say yes, no. Okay. So that one is going to create wahala to reach a consensus among these guys, even though that would probably be the best for them. The opposition, who is going to be the candidate? Atiku, Amechi, or Obi? Consensus. So if they now choose somebody, is that not going to probably, if they choose Atiku, won't the Obi supporters walk away? If they choose Obi, won't Atiku supporters walk away? If they choose Amechi, won't Atiku and Obi supporters walk away? Consensus, wahala. The second one is direct primary, option A4. That means the opposition would have to gather all of their members across Nigeria in the over 176,000 political wards in the country. Every political ward where they have members, they will queue on the date chosen to elect who is going to be candidates. So everybody will now queue behind the representative of their own aspirants. Obi's representative, Amechi representative, Atiku representative. So they will all be represented all over Nigeria. So people, members of their party will now vote. That voting is by counting, option A4. So they will say, okay, Ward 4, Odogbolu local government area, Ward 4. No, not just Ward 4 here. Ward 4 at the polling unit 001. Did they feel me? Polling unit 001. Atiku scored 20. Obi scored 21. Amechi scored 22. So they will now count it from polling units of each ward, and it can be up to 11 in each ward. The unit there can be up to 11 or even more. So then the total political ward in each local government can be up to 15. So 11 times 15. Do the math. 160 what? 161 will be 162. Yeah, so then you have to now count from all these 162 units in that sense, okay? That makes up this unit or so. So you now collate all the results, okay? They will collate everything and then announce the winner all over the country. So which means before you even go for election at all, they don't scatter all of now. Somebody should help me permanently ban this user. His name is, what is it again? What's your name? Country First. Now, Google kill you for you coming on to Maiyegun's Diary Politico and typing Yoruba or whatever nonsense that some of you tribal bigots, right, always do. So, I got on fair well, right? Anyway, we'll leave that. So you are on Maiyegun's Diary Politico. I will advise you to probably keep your bigotry to yourself, okay? Whether you are a Yoruba bigot or you are an Igbo bigot or you are, what do you call it? Hausa, Bifula, wherever you are. Once you come onto Maiyegun's Diary Politico, you should probably keep that to yourself. There are platforms where you can do all of that. You know what I mean? Begin to throw all this insult and the rest of that around. Yorubas are not ruling Nigeria. Do you understand? Tinubu doesn't represent the Yorubas. Just same way, Bokuwari never represent the northern Nigeria. And the sooner you probably realize that, the better for you. Now, all these foolish ones in Yoruba land, they are thinking that because they have somebody who is a Yoruba person in Abuja, that makes them probably have, what do you call it? Streets. What do you call that thing again? So it doesn't give you anything. It's just only stupid people that thinks that because they are Yoruba, there's something that comes with that Tinubu is ruling Nigeria. Yorubas are being killed as we speak. just like they are killing everybody all over the country. Igbos or Yorubas or Hausas and the rest are being slaughtered by different of these criminals all over the place. So it would be so stupid of you to come here to start dropping this the usual, what do you call it? So yeah. Olowo, what is that message again? I just missed that. That person just distracted me. But nevertheless, I hope I have my own way answered your question a bit. Olowo, the whole thing is all targeted at the opposition, and it's not really looking that good for the same opposition themselves, because the election should be between APC and Nigerians. My own opinion, because the opposition themselves are not I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out, okay? So I don't think it is right for anybody to have a membership of two political parties. That itself is illegal. That's wrong. You can only be a member of a political party. And it is called antipathy as well, if you probably do that. Anyway. No, the main thing is that the only thing I know, or should I say the only thing I can possibly agree to or agree with, the position I can agree with is that they are doing everything to ensure that Peter Obi is not on the ballot in 2027. Do you understand? Yeah. That he is not a candidate of any party. Do you get me now? So then they are thinking, you are right, they are thinking that Peter Obi, who has publicly resigned from the Labour Party, by the way, is resigned his membership. But they kind of like believe, or they are suspecting, that if ADC should give their ticket to Atiku, right, that Peter Obi is going to go back to Labour Party. But that assertion doesn't make any sense, because even time will be against him. The political parties are expected to begin the process of choosing their candidates by the end of April. Okay? So which means by May, you are going to start seeing activities around political parties trying to get their candidates. Tinubu will be chosen as the candidate of the APC. So the whole attention is now going to be on the what they're going to do and how they're going to undo their own selection. So by the time the selection is probably concluded, it will be impossible for anybody to go to another political party to go and become the candidate of, like, presidential candidate of another political party. It's almost going to be impossible. But again, I just want them to scatter everything. Just in case if you probably want to know my own position. Maiyegun, what do you expect to happen? I want them to get so bold and confident that as they are currently ongoing, as they are going now, right? Where they believe that everything is sorted, nothing is going to probably stop Tinubu from second term. So then the opposition will have a chance of probably a lifetime to actually get rid of Tinubu. So then Tinubu and his gang will become very desperate, because that's not the plan. In that desperation and all of that, right, everything will come scatter. And that is my own projection. But I can't remotely make that happen, okay? Event will lead to that. And events like this are what will lead to that, okay? But we'll see again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening, right? I'm going to see you again later. Good night.